Hello, welcome to the Generational Gamer, and today's video is really just informational. So I've been asked a few times about what I use to make my videos, and we're going to start with this box right here. Everything is connected to it, okay? Now, the vast majority of the time, all I do is I pop this, insert the M Classic, and then I'm ready to go. But I also use this feature, it's just an HDMI extension cable, when I want to add one of my capture cards. So the vast majority of the time I use this one. It's an Elgato HD60 as it says right here. And I use OBS for anything, speaking at you RetroTink, that's not 720 and above. And the reason I use OBS is because with OBS you can scale it, and then when I add the M Classic, I'm not getting some tiny little picture that I'm eventually going to have to make larger. And then it'll artifact and it'll look like hell. Alright, so that's that one. But what about the PlayStations? Well, 3 and 4. Well, that's where this little guy comes in. Now, I bought this one early on. This was actually the one I bought before this one. And the reason I like it is because it's so ridiculously easy. Alright, so your HDMI goes in, it has a power, you turn it on, HDMI out, and USB-A out. It likes NTFS and FAT32. Now, because of the vast size of my drives, I typically use NTFS, but there's a downside with this one over this one. This one, it produces MP4 formats, but it does not particularly like the Mac. Now, I use Mac for all my editing now because, well, quite frankly, I like Mac, I like command line. If I have a problem with it, I can always just type in the terminal, and I like Linux. So, the Mac is a perfect operating system with greater compatibility and less headaches, most of the time, than a Linux platform. But, like I said, this one does not particularly like Macintosh. The problem is that when you initially plug it in, since it does use NTFS, Mac does not natively support writing to NTFS. When you do that, I have a driver to allow me, but two things happen. Macs put on hidden files designated by the dot in front of them, and then so then your drive has more crap on it than it did before. But also, when I copy the files from here to my Mac and then try to play them, there's almost always some kind of greenish hue over them, and they're pixelated as hell. Now, if I use a software program like I use Shotcut, it's completely free. I'll leave a link in the description. I can open it up and I can export it to something the Mac likes, which is typically how I do it, and I also strip out anything I don't care about. Now, where this one is beneficial over this one is the PlayStations. It strips out HDCP. With the PS3 and the PS4, HDCP is enabled. Now, you can disable it on the PS4, but it's an extra step and I don't feel like doing it. So, I'll just use this. Now, what I'll sometimes do is stack them. So, I'll have this one, have the PlayStation going in here and outputting into here, and then I can record on both, and this, even if I don't record to it, it will strip out the HDCP and go in here. So one of the things that's really cool about this is there's really no setup to it. You plug it in, you turn it on, and then you press this button when you want to start and when you want to stop. The color coding is as follows. The blue is 1080p, the green is 720p. You can switch them if you want to, force it in one direction or another by holding this down. Once it switches color, then you can just tap that and you're ready to go. This one has its included software, and then you can use the OBS link on Mac, or if you're using Windows, it'll just natively recognize it as a video capture device. So, I actually like using this one a little bit better, but it can be more temperamental, and if I'm getting frustrated with it, I'll use this one. Whenever I record for comparison, I always use the same device, because I don't want any kind of shenanigans where one might output better than the other. Now, for 480p, I have to use this one, because this one, like my early Carby videos, does not natively, I mean, it'll take 480p, but it's really low resolution, it doesn't look good. So I always use this one. Anyway, that's it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, leave some of those comments below and have a good one.
If you got this far, you probably liked the video. Well, how about checking out some of these other ones? And if you like them too, please subscribe. Have a good one.